Hollywood has a knack for turning great movies into franchises, whether we want them or not. Sometimes sequels can be a delightful surprise, but other times they leave us wondering why they were made in the first place. Here are 10 movie sequels that we definitely didn't ask for and certainly didn't need. Audiences held their breath when The Blair Witch Project hit screens in 1999, pioneering the found footage genre. It was fresh, terrifying, and genuinely innovative. Then, in comes its sequel, Blair Witch 2: Book of Shadows. Straying from the original's unique found footage format, this sequel attempts to delve deeper into the mythology of the Blair Witch. However, its shift to a more traditional narrative format resulted in a lackluster horror that couldn't hold a candle to the first film. Viewers were treated to an uninspired plotline about a group of Blair Witch-obsessed tourists who start experiencing spooky shenanigans. The film failed to captivate critics and audiences alike, earning a meager 14% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. "1994's The Mask, starring Jim Carrey, was a wild ride. The film's sequel, Son of the Mask, was also a ride, but the kind you want to get off as soon as possible. The film centers around a cartoonist who finds the mask's powers and gives birth to a baby with, well, mask-like powers. While Jamie Kennedy and Alan Cumming tried to fill Carrey's shoes, the script didn't do them any favors. The film's reception was so dismal, it won the Razzie Award for Worst Sequel or Remake. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a horrifyingly low 6% rating.
Hold up, right there!
I don't like it here.
Donnie Darko is a cult classic. It's an enigmatic, twisted, beautiful piece of cinema. Its sequel, S. Darko, A Donnie Darko Tale, however, is a bit like that weird, abstract painting in the art gallery that everyone pretends to understand, but really doesn't. Following the adventures of Donnie's younger sister, Samantha, the film attempted to recreate the haunting, atmospheric vibe of the original, but ended up as a confusing, unnecessary continuation. With a meager 13% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, this film serves as a reminder that not all stories need to be continued. Notably, Richard Kelly, the director of the original film, was offered to be involved in the sequel, but he refused. Smart move, Kelly.
Everything's changing for me. I can see things that I only used to dream about. There are forces at work here. Something evil. That's just the beginning.
American Psycho was a chilling commentary on 80s corporate culture with an unforgettable performance by Christian Bale. But when American Psycho 2, All-American Girl rolled around, viewers were left scratching their heads. The sequel's plot revolves around a murderous criminology student, played by Mila Kunis, who kills her babysitter's boyfriend, a survivor from the original film, and develops a taste for murder. The attempt to shift from a sophisticated psychological thriller to a college slasher was met with significant criticism. Kunis herself has expressed regret about participating in the film, as the sequel was originally shot as a separate movie, but was later adapted to fit into the American Psycho universe.
Please don't be upset, Bobby.
Stop calling me Bobby.
Okay, I'm a little confused.
You're confused. How do you think I feel? Rachel, Miss Newman, this is unacceptable.
Oh, it is?
The original Carrie, based on Stephen King's novel, is a classic tale of high school horror and puberty gone awry. Its sequel, The Rage Carrie 2, didn't quite live up to the legacy. The sequel, which was released over 2 decades after the original, follows Rachel, a high school outcast who discovers she has telekinetic abilities after the suicide of her best friend. Although the film tried to replicate the original's commentary on high school bullying and isolation, it fell short in its execution. It managed to scrape up a mere 21% on Rotten Tomatoes and was quickly forgotten.
Just be nice, not having to be like everybody else.
Sometimes I really wish I could just be one of the shiny, happy people, you know?
Come on, this girl's just a skank. You don't even know her. What, you do? Yeah, I do know her.
Catty Shack, released in 1980, is still remembered as a classic sports comedy. It was a feel-good movie with Rodney Dangerfield, Bill Murray, and Chevy Chase. Then came Catty Shack 2, which was less of a hole-in-one and more of a golf ball lost in the rough. This sequel sees Jackie Mason as an entrepreneur who clashes with the stuffy denizens of a country club. Unfortunately, it failed to recapture the charm and humor of the original, earning a dismal 4% on Rotten Tomatoes. Most of the original cast didn't return for the sequel, smart move, and those who did, like Chevy Chase, reportedly regretted it.
You did that on purpose.
Well, I won't be a caddy all my life. I'm going to car wash school in the fall.
Seen a crisp $50 bill.
I tell you what, if I pull the arrow out, will you please suck out the poison for me?
When Baby Geniuses was released in 1999, it wasn't exactly hailed as a cinematic masterpiece. But then came its sequel, Super Babies, Baby Geniuses 2, which made the first film look like an Oscar contender. This film revolves around a group of talking babies who gain superpowers to stop a media mogul's nefarious plan. It's as ridiculous as it sounds. In fact, it was so poorly received that it has a rare 0% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, with one critic describing it as the cinematic equivalent of a dirty diaper. Not exactly a glowing review, right?
He can become our super selves and help Kahuna! All right, kids!
We're about to have company.
Nice spot. A little candy cane for my taste, but then I'm an adult.
Team, now!
You would think that after Jaws 2 and Jaws 3D, filmmakers would have understood that it's hard to recapture the terror induced by the original Jaws. Yet, they decided to tempt fate with Jaws: The Revenge. The plot revolves around the ludicrous concept of a vengeful shark seeking out the remaining members of the Brody family. Michael Caine, who starred in the film, reportedly hadn't seen it, but heard it was terrible. However, he did see the house it bought, which was apparently lovely.
Damn passengers, you're all the same. Complain, complain. Oh, shit.
Grease was a delightful 50s-era musical romp. So naturally, expectations were high when Grease 2 hit the screens. Unfortunately, it failed to deliver the same magic. The sequel flips the script, with Michelle Pfeiffer as a pink lady being wooed by a T-bird, played by Maxwell Caulfield. While it attempted to replicate the original's catchy tunes and high school romance, it came off as a lackluster echo. Grease 2 has a 37% rating on Rotten Tomatoes and is often left out of Grease sing-alongs.
Don't get sore when you lose tonight. We're gonna show you how to do it right. We're gonna start.
Look Who's Talking, the original film, was a cute comedy that gave a voice to babies. The sequel, Look Who's Talking Now, however, decided that babies weren't enough and that dogs needed to talk too. Yes, you heard that right, dogs. In this film, the baby from the original is all grown up, and the family has two dogs, voiced by Danny DeVito and Diane Keaton. The result was a corny, somewhat cringeworthy film that strayed too far from the original's charming concept, earning a 14% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I got papers. Who cares? I go on papers.
Let's move it.
Move on this. Kid, get me out of here.